For everyone in the room,
Sure.
would you go to a LARP hotel?
No.
Yes.
What's the
Sure.
LARP?
They don't say.
It's not that I'm against
LARP
it.
hotel?
A LARP hotel.
But like, what kind of LARPing?
Right?
Yeah,
that's
Kind of important.
Like,
So let's
whenever
assume...
I'm going to come right out here and say this. Whenever I go outside, I'm LARPing.
Yeah.
I'm LARPing right now.
It makes me very nervous. I don't mind people who do it. That's marvelous. I'm glad you're having fun. But there's this weird, it's the same thing with audience participation. It's this weird feeling of you're playing a game that I'm not. Like I guess maybe if I was LARPing too, that might be fine. But I keep thinking of it as street theaters, or like, no, I don't want to be in your world that you're making. Don't drag me into it. It's uncomfortable. Please, no. I might ruin it. I'm ruining it, aren't I? I'm ruining it. I don't know what's happening. I don't.
I'm assuming a LARP hotel would be something that you go to participate in with the people of the hotel.
Right. That sounds fun.
So
Yeah.
I hope that there are defined LARPing zones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the thing. So that was the thing about TwitchCon, right? Mm-hmm. Is when we went to the TwitchCon party. Okay, Beach, focus on the party. We went
Stay
to
on target.
the party. It was the Dark Harbor. It was at the Queen Mary. This is in Long Beach, and it's basically the whole Dark Harbor thing is that the ship is haunted, but for this brief period of time that we're doing this thing, I don't think it's as permanent. It's usually like a haunted tours and stuff. They ramped this up. They just turned it up, and it's like, it's murders and zombies and all these, and there's all these failed actors running around. That's a horrible thing to say, but it's a lot of people who are like, there are a lot of people
hire failed actors?
Yeah, it is a horrible
Or
thing.
non-working actors.
It's non-working actors is what I mean, right?
Right.
That's why I'm like, a horrible thing to think that, because it's like, Jesus, like, but no, it's like people who are currently like, they put them in costume and they're really good at what they do because oh my god, they're very scary and they are very acting and they are very aggressive. Ooh. And it was not fun. And in the for me it wasn't because I don't like being scared, but it also was not being fun being like they're wandering around and they have like taps on their feet and on their fingers and stuff, and there's guys who are like they'd be walking along, striding through whatever, walking like a weird messed up way, and then they would like drop to the ground and they do like a sweep kick and some stuff, and like make sparks come out or whatever and rub the taps on the asphalt and stuff just to basically freak you out, or they do stuff in your face but they wouldn't touch you, or sometimes they'd accidentally touch you. It didn't happen to me, but there was on the Queen Mary, this is the H1Z1 party, on the Queen Mary, the H1Z1 lounge was the safe place to be. No one was allowed to go in there that was from the rest of the attraction. And that's where I stayed.
Right.
Because I was like, I have to walk through this whole thing to get there. They had all these tours of the Queen Mary that were like dark and disturbing, and they were like gonna mess with you and stuff. And it was like lots of jump scares and lots of like gore and viscera and stuff to freak you out. I don't like that stuff. I went to the party because I wanted to see what it was gonna be like. I'm like, oh, that is not my jam. And we stayed. I stayed in the lounge until we were like ready to leave, and then when we were leaving, it was like, okay, good, it is time to go now. I went out once in the middle, and I'm not going to tell that part of that story, so it doesn't really matter. But the chef, the haunted chef dude, who's like a big dude, like big barrel dude, he came through the lounge at one point, and they don't say anything, and he didn't say anything, and he walked over to where we were because he noticed us, and he was holding a banana, and
I saw this picture.
yeah, he was holding a banana, and I'm like, oh, don't make eye contact. I don't want to interact with this guy. He's too freaky looking. And of course, the lights are up, bright, everything. He's not going to do anything to me, but he's like coming towards me. And then he went past me, behind me, because I'm sitting down. He went over to James, and he was like, kind of like menacing him with the banana.
How?
It was weird. There's a picture of this, and then James takes a selfie, and I'm worried. And then the selfie is over, and he's about to leave, and he looks down. He walks out from behind James and me, and James is like, oh, okay, like, wow, that was intense. And he starts to do whatever, and then all of a sudden the guy's hand comes in and points at James's phone and scares the hell out of James. Like, he jumps, and he points at the top left corner of James's phone, and we're trying to figure out what he's doing, and he keeps pointing at it, but he won't say anything. We're like, what is going on? He's got his big, messy beard. He looks really intense. He's really frightening. and he's pointing at the phone. He keeps stabbing at the phone with his finger, not touching it. And finally, I'm like, oh, he sees the Wi-Fi symbol, because the Wi-Fi is for hotel guests only, which means you're staying at the Queen Mary, and we weren't staying at Queen Mary. James just happened to get the password from somebody who was to use the Wi-Fi.
Oh.
And the guy says, he sees the Wi-Fi symbol, and when he did that, we both looked up at him, and with a stern look, he goes, and then leaves. It was the weirdest experience, and that's my favorite story from that party.
Maybe he was mute.
Maybe. I mean, he probably was employed to be mute too. So, but it was weird. It was great. It was a very unique experience to have, definitely.
It is a
but I would not do that
challenge.
tour again.
It is a challenge to act out menacing someone at the
I don't, if there's one in here, I might actually do that. But
I
let's
just
see.
saw the picture James posted of that guy standing behind you with the banana and you looking up, like, and all I could hear was, beach no like the banana. I was back at the hotel bar at that point and being like, huh, all right.
So in Coeur d'Alene, there is like an amusement park called Silverwood, and every October they basically convert it into a Halloween themed
Right.
place. It's actually really interesting. I went there a few years back. There's a like set of like haunted houses and that are fairly detailed. Like they
Okay.
really go out and they pull in actors. Like I just had a friend from Seattle.
Go ahead. I'm not going to do anything yet.
I thought we were doing a
I'm not going to interrupt you.
I actually had friends from Seattle like go this year, and they were like basically demonic clowns, and it's sort of the same thing where it's like they have people just wandering about in various get-ups, like scarecrows and various forms of murderers and the like. It's one of those places where like you have to really like enjoy that atmosphere. And like I'm a person where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go here once because I got discounted tickets at my through my job, and I thought, cool, I get discounted tickets and I can just hang out with friends. And I haven't been back since because it's one of those like things of like, okay, I've experienced this once, I have zero interest in going back because
no replay value.
there's that, and there's more like there's a moment in time where I just kind of like, okay, I get it. Yes, you know, you're supposed to be scary. Can I just take a few minutes and just sit on this bench and just not be bothered for a while? Like, I get it, this is your job, but like, can you leave me alone for like 10 minutes?
Yeah, that acting has to be really difficult.
Yeah.
Because like, there's gonna be people like me who just no sell it, right?
Or they take the piss out of it.
Yeah, and like,
I wonder
yeah,
which
I
is
don't
harder
mean to
to
make anyone's
receive.
job harder, but I guess I kind of just did.
Well, I felt bad for a lot of them because there was this one, like some of these are pretty like well designed. Like there was one guy who was like inside of a wall pretending to be a statue, and like every now and then, if someone like got up close to take a photo, he'd just jump out at them,
Right.
and, like break the thing apart. But like I felt really bad because like when he does that, everyone notices. So then he's got to put himself back and wait for everyone to leave, and just
Right,
stand
right.
there like perfectly still
That
for
must
God
be
knows how long.
that must be so awkward to after you do it just meekly like pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
I think they rigged it so that way they can just kind of like step back and like, you know, like very quickly like reattach himself. But like, it was the thing where like, okay, I've seen it once. Like, and the thing was like my brain's going like, that's a human and he's about to jump out at me. That scarecrow's another person. Like, I'm starting to like pick things apart. I'm like, okay, now it's not fun anymore I'm not gonna be surprised when the scarecrow jumps out at me because of course the scarecrow is a person.
Yeah. It's
You either get into it or you don't.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the haunted houses were actually really good. I think I went to all of them except the one where it was like it's pitch black and you have to like navigate by putting your hands on the wall. And I'm mildly claustrophobic, so I'm like, I'm gonna step in there and I'm going to freak out because if I go blind, and because I'm basically blind in there, and it's like, great, I'm blind and now it's an enclosed space, and I'm just gonna freak out in there, and I don't want to do that.
That sounds like a nightmare.
But that's
Yeah.
the point.
Oh, I guess. I'm not like are you guys all like horror movie fans? Do you guys watch scary movies?
I do.
It depends on what the
Yeah.
movie is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go out of my way to watch.
Like, I'm not.
Ben's excited.
Ben is excited.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of torture porn, but like I like something. Like if it's just rampant gore,
Ben is
that's
concerned.
That's the category of the Saw movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not a person who I'm also not a person who likes watching scary movies because like I was like I don't really want to go to bed with nightmares tonight. I'd rather not.